unboxing video slash stash reveal kind of thing going on. Anyway, how is everyone? I hope everyone's okay. And I think that's probably it. I'm now going to go cracking straight onto what we've got. So I have already opened my box because I have already shared it with two friends who are also customers who wanted to see what was in it. So I have already opened mine, so it doesn't look quite as pretty inside the box as it does when it actually arrives. So just as a bit of warning, Paper Pumpkin is like a really cool way of introducing someone to stamping and card making, but the kits that they actually make are just excellent quality and superb value for money. So actually, even if you're a really experienced crafter, they're fab. They don't get them in the UK very often, apparently. We've only had a few over the years. So when I saw that there was a Christmas one, I had to buy it because I am slightly Christmas crafting obsessed. I do Christmas crafting all year round, but now I'm sort of really ramping up, even though I have absolutely no need to buy or make any Christmas cards at all. I'm still making them because I love them. And that for me is what my crafting is about. It's not about what I need to produce, it's the act of making that I really enjoy. So £20, and it includes virtually everything you would need apart from a pair of scissors and sort of a stamping block type thing. So I'm just grabbing one out of my drawer. So you'd need some kind of acrylic block or something hard in order to stick any stamps to. So that's the only other thing that you would need. It includes adhesive, it includes dimensionals, it includes all of your die cut elements, it includes ink. Shall we see what's in the box? Okay, so first of all, lovely box, really nice quality box. Somebody else sent me something in an old Paper Pumpkin box, so I don't know what this kit was. Obviously she put labels on it and stuff, but I'm currently using that box in order to store all my little tags that I've been making. But they are the good quality boxes, really sweet, and actually would make a really lovely present if you wanted to gift this to somebody who's a crafter. So it comes, normally it comes with the leaflet on the top and then the tissue. Clearly mine's in a big old mess. In fact, I'm going to lift it out because I know the tissue and the camera is not a good mix. So I'm just going to take the tissue out and put it to one side. Obviously I'm going to keep that tissue because I'm going to stamp on that tissue and use it in various projects. So the first thing you get is like a leaflet. It tells you all about Paper Pumpkin. There's a Facebook group where you can get loads of people who I joined it. I don't do a huge amount on Facebook these days, but I did join it, and it's loads of people sharing ideas with the kit, as well as a lot of pen pal work stuff going on. People swapping things across the world, actually, because it's an international group. So anyway, there's a bit about that, and on the back, and obviously you've got pictures of the actual how they've designed the cards to work. Do we follow those? Probably not. What you've also got is a little bit of a clue, is the fact that they've actually included some sentiments in different languages. Absolutely great if you've got international people you want to send it to. I don't think I've got any. We have got some French friends, but to be honest, we don't usually send them a Christmas card. Perhaps we ought to this year now that I've got some French stuff. But I haven't got anybody in Germany. But it's got what the translations are. So if you're not quite sure what harmony is in Germany, I have no idea if I've pronounced that right, even though I've got a GCSE in German. Well, that's peace. Freud is joy. Liebe is love. I kind of knew the French ones because I do a bit better with French. But anyway, so you get a leaflet. Then inside the kit, you get actual instructions. So there's two designs that they've given you all of the materials to make. They've given you a slightly more materials because you've got your choice of your languages, etc. But they've given you all your card blanks, your envelopes, the ribbon, and etc. to go with for these two designs for you to be able to make 8 cards. The instructions on how to do that are inside. As I say, am I likely to use that? Highly unlikely. What they've then done on the back, just check. So these are the two original ones that they've designed it for, but they've given you a little sneaky peek of what else you might want to do with the kit. And obviously we don't have to do exactly what they say. That's the world of creativity. So as I said, it comes with an ink spot. The stamping spot that it comes with is Just Jade, which is great because I don't have Just Jade. And I haven't actually got around to opening this to actually look at the, not that it's the most exciting thing to look at, but let's just see. There we go. So there's the Just Jade ink pad. You get a set of stamps, which are the photopolymer, so they're really good quality clear stamps. A really cute wreath and flower, the word joy, Merry Christmas, a longer sentiment, wishing you a very happy Christmas filled with love, fun and laughter. That's really, I'm suspecting you could cut along this and do some stamp doctoring. To the world, sending to you and yours, and then some little berries or dots. I'm pretty sure that they're going to look more like berries than just dots when you stamp them out. So there's the stamp set. I think that's a really good stamp set all on its own without all of the bits that goes with it. I think they're really nice standalone stamps. I love the font on the Christmas and the joy. I actually quite like this, the capitals on this. It's sort of still quite a relaxed font. So really like the stamp sets. Right, I'm aware that maybe, oh no, it's not too bad. I was going to say maybe it's going to be a bit shiny on the screen because of the fact that this is a metallic and the light's shining. It's not too bad. So you get two different sizes of an embossed cardstock. So can you see it's got an embossing and it's like a cable knit type, jumper type finish. So there's a smaller rectangle, almost a square but not quite. In fact, let's have a look. Have we got a size? So it's just over 8 centimeters by just over 7.5, or 3 1/4 by 3 inches. Okay, so you get 4, I think, of those. 2, 3, 4, and then you get 4 of the larger panel, and the larger panel is 10.5 centimeters by just over 7.5 centimeters, or 4 1/8 inch by 3. So again, really lovely embossing, which means you don't need to grab your embossing folders or have a big shot. It's absolutely perfect for beginners, people, but because you can do whatever you want and they're all fabulous things, perfect for anybody else as well. So these are, you get 2 sheets of this. In fact, that piece is already starting to sort of pull out, but you can see there that you've got some die cut words, and this is where you've got all your different languages, and there's 2 sheets of that, along with 2 banners as well. Perfect for layering underneath your sort of your clustered elements. Now this foxed me when I first got it because I thought they're very strange embellishments. They've sort of got a few letters and words on them and shapes on them, but it's not distinctly Christmas or anything else. And then somebody informed me, no, Catherine, they're glue. So these are adhesive dots that when you take the paper backing off them, they're then clear adhesive dots, perfect for laying down your sentiments, etc. That's what those are. Because of course when I first looked at this, was I sensible in thinking of reading the instructions? No, of course I didn't. Okay, so you've got then 8 card blanks. So the card blanks are a crumb cake kind of finish, but I don't know if you can see they've got sort of some sort of distress marks on them. So it's not a plain finish. But then you've got this fabulous gold foiling. Insides are white, but you've actually got 2 different orientations. So you've either got them, if we had them in a portrait standing up style, then you've got them coming down, or you've got them going across. And that's because they've designed on their 2 sample cards, they've got them so that they go in across regardless of the direction of the card, if that makes any sense at all. Okay, so 8 card blanks, all pre-scored. I'm just going to lift this out actually, and you've then got 8 envelopes, but the envelopes have got a gorgeous print inside, which is this repeated words in exactly the same font as those capitalised sentiments on the stamps, and it's the same as the background on this box, but much smaller. So perfect, cute envelopes, but I don't really think that it's worth having them as an envelope personally, because most people just chuck an envelope away. And although it's nice to decorate the outside, I think for the postman more than anything, I think that actually you could cut this up and you've got quite a nice size of designer series paper there going on that you could use instead, and just substitute it with a cheaper envelope, because I just think envelopes just go in the bin. Right. Another boring thing, but really essential, especially if you're a beginner card maker, is a pack of dimensionals. So you get 1 sheet of dimensionals, which is perfect, and especially perfect for me because I've just run out of all kinds of dimensional. Okay, so then you get these fabulous die cut embellishments, and you can see here that they go with the wreath, and then you've got flowers that coordinate with those stamped images. Okay, now apparently, and I need to now go and look it up, but you can line it up, this stamp, so it goes over the top of the wreath. So there is a way of doing it, and as I say, I need to go and just double check what that is to make sure that you line it up correctly. And then you get some of the sprigs will go in between others, etc., and it'll look really cool. To be honest, I think it'll look really cool even if you didn't line it up perfectly. I'm sure that it'd still look great. But yeah, I will look that up before we get to the segment of the video where I actually start creating, just so you know. On the picture here, what they've done is they've actually tucked half of this gorgeous floral die cut behind a sentiment banner. So I would think, actually, do you know what, just cut your flower in half. I know it's not going to be exactly the same, but then you can save some of your flowers for other cards. Okay, and then we have these fabulous die cut panels, and again there's 4 of each of those, and then there's 5 of these, perfect for sticking your sentiments on. They fit perfectly the Merry Christmas, and then these fit perfectly the smaller sentiments to the world, etc. So that's a really cool idea. There's a piece of cardboard which I will save, because I will probably die cut that and turn that into the base for either ATCs or artist trading coins or inchies or something. So that's, I always save things like that. And the final thing is some gorgeous red twine. So you can see they're absolutely gorgeous, and I'm pretty sure that the colour combination for this kit is just jade, which is fairly obvious because that's the colour that's in the ink already. I'm wondering if it says it on here. I'm going to guess a cherry cobbler. Don't think I can see anything that tells me. Oh yeah, cherry cobbler. So cherry cobbler linen thread, so it does tell you the right colour. So yeah, so cherry cobbler linen thread, which obviously coordinates perfectly with that. And because I didn't just buy the paper pumpkin kit, I did also buy these are my first of my Stampin' Blends pens, but I bought those in Just Jade and the cherry cobbler in order that I could colour those stamped images in, and I know it would coordinate perfectly. So there's the kit. Isn't it fabulous? So as I say, the only thing that you might need is a pair of scissors, a pair of snips, and a stamping block. That's all you would need, and you can create these cards. So just bear with me. I'm going to pause this and you'll see me a second, but I'll go and look up so I can make sure I know how I'm meant to line up the wreath. Okay, I'm back, and I think I have the answer. I'm just going to reference who it is I got the answer from. So I got it off Creative Chelsea on YouTube. So it's Chelsea Christensen. Creative Chelsea, and she had put on she's done like a paper pumpkin alternatives video, but within that I think it's let's just see where we're up to. At about 7-8 minutes, that's probably when you'll find the instruction. But I'm going to do exactly the same thing, and obviously I'm just sending all the credit to Chelsea, because she came up with the idea on how to do it. So your stamp set, if you've not try not to remove your wreath first. If you do, then you'll have to try and line it back up again with the pattern on the paper. But you'll see that there's like a little ignore the thick line, but there's a little arrow, chevron or something along those lines just here. Okay, so what I do, and this is what Chelsea suggests, is you just slightly lift the stamp away from the backing and just mark that little groove that's between the sort of the leaf and the fern, the pine frond. I don't know if that's the right word, but there's a little bit of a dip in there, because that's the part that you need to be lining up on the actual on the document. Don't know where that came from. On the die cut. Okay, so once you've marked that, it'll help you put it back down in the right place, because you'll always be aligning that. Make sure you're using a Sharpie or something that's a permanent marker. But you'll always be aligning it with the same thing, if that's important to you. It's not that important to me that I put them in the right place when I put them down, but having that is really important. So when you put your die cut up, it's been a long day at work today, and I've just finished work and I'm now doing this, which is probably not the most sensible of ideas, but if I don't do it now, I won't do it at all. You put your stamp on your block. Okay, I would have it so that that little piece where you can see it's been marked with the permanent marker is towards the top. And then you lay your die cut sheets down, or if you've already taken your die cut out, you'll have to remember which one it is. But we're wanting to nestle that die cut, that black mark around that top berry there. So can you see, if I just use my poker tool, you've got one single berry here next to a cluster of 3, and directly underneath it is another cluster of 3. So if we look at the outside circle of berries, there's that one, and that one that are on the outside, and they're single berries. So you're looking for one that's directly next to a 3 and above a 3. Okay, and that is where you then want to stick your stamp down. Now I'm not going to be able to see this particularly well at the angle I'm currently working at, so that's better for me. I don't know whether it's on the camera. Yeah, it'll do. But that will then mean that I should have a reasonably good job of lining it up, so that when I stamp that image, it's going to line up perfectly with the pre-printed wreath. So let's have a little go. Let's see how successful we are. I've not given Chelsea's thing a go, so let's hope she was right. I'm going to trust her. When I'm using a stamping spot, I always tend to take the ink to the stamp and tap gently round, rather than trying to cover it the other way round. Like if I was using a normal stamp, I'd have to stamp into the ink, but on this that becomes really tricky, so I use the other way round. So that little notch is going to go round that little berry there, and I am just going to I'm going to re-ink that, because it doesn't look like the ink has stayed on there. There we go, that's better. Right, so down it goes, always straight down, firm, 2 hands, 1 hand, and then peel away. Okay, not perfect, I have to admit. I think my lining up with the camera in the way of my face is not helpful, but you know what, it's near enough for the purposes of making a handmade card. I'm more than happy with that. I definitely think that the idea that Chelsea's given us is completely correct. That is the right thing. I think I just went over to the left a little bit too much, because I wasn't looking directly down, because the camera is directly in the way. Right, so I've done that. I think in this instance I am not going to stamp this floral image for any of the cards that I'm going to make at the moment, but what I want to do is perhaps add a sentiment panel. I think for the purposes of this video I am just going to make the one card, and I am going to go for Sending Joy being my my sentiment, because I think that my favourite, oh dear, I'm just collapsing everything around my desk. I think my favourite of the two cards that they've pre-designed for us is definitely the one with the wreath and the gold words. So that's the one that I'm going to go and emulate. So I think I'm going to go Sending Joy, which actually is not one of the ones that they've done, but that's the one that I like. So again, I'm going to just line up that little notch that I've drawn onto there, and I know it's in the right place. Right, sending. Ideally, you'd use a small stamp block, but for those people that only maybe have one, you can just use the one. She says, I'm looking for the die cut pieces. Where have I put them? They're in the box still. Okay. And I am going to, having said that I always take the stamping spot to the stamp, I didn't in this case because it's only a little stamp. And I am going to go straight in the middle with Sending. Oh, again, I rocked that. That's what you shouldn't do. Catherine, demonstrating terribly there. The good news is, if you think you've got it wrong, there's always two sides of a piece of paper. Now, I'm going to go with what it is. It's a handmade card. That means it comes with some potential imperfections because it's not mass produced by a machine. So on their examples, they've done it so that all of them are going across, regardless of whether they were a landscape or a portrait card. So let's go with the same as they've done. They've also used, on this particular card, oh, there we go, one of the pieces of embossed card. Then they've got the wreath, which you can see there I've definitely stamped it in a wonky way, so we'll attempt to cover that up with the words that we're using. And we want Joy, which is probably one of the larger. You know what, I'm going to go for Peace, only because that one's already started to come out and I don't want to lose anything. So let's use the one that's naturally selected itself by already coming out. So let's go for Sending Peace. In fact, I prefer it over there, and that also then sort of disguises some of my slight misstamping. Now, the other thing that they've included is a bit of that lovely twine. So they've included it as a wrap around the panel. And this is where you might need some scissors. And they've included a lovely bow. So I'm going to go for possibly that much on a bow, which might be a little bit much, but we'll see. I'm hopeful I've not wasted that because I love the twine, the thread type things. So I'm going to wrap this round first, like so. I want it to be reasonably straight, but you know what? Again, it's handmade, it's not machine made, it doesn't need to be completely perfect. I have, of course, completely lost my, there they are, dimensionals. Okay, so I'm going to put one dimensional there, and one there, just to keep it tidy. Snip off that little bit of excess, not a huge amount of excess admittedly, and then I'm going to stick another two dimensionals up there. And I think I like to be sure that something's going to stick, so I'm just going to stick one down there and one there. At least then I feel fairly confident it's not going to come off when it goes through the post. There we go. And then I am going to go slightly different from the design, only because I can't follow instructions. I'm rubbish at following instructions, I really am. Okay, I think there, maybe a bit further up. There we go. And then we're going to fold, do a bow. Yes, I think that's definitely too big a piece of twine, so I'm wondering if I do a double bow instead. Let's see how that works. Or whether that looks ridiculous. Possibly too short for, yeah, too short for a double bow. Okay, I've now stuck that. That was a bit silly. Oh, I don't quite know what I've done there. I've somehow managed to get it to stick and tied a lovely knot in it. Oh no, I don't want to waste it. Okay, put it to one side, Catherine. Oh, wasteful. Let's not snip it. Let's make the bow this way, and then we'll get it to the right sort of size. I think that's a nice size, and that is going to sit underneath here. I think maybe if we go for one there. Now, let's see how these adhesive dots work that I hadn't recognised as being adhesive when I first saw the kit, if indeed I can find them. Okay, I'm going to just stick one onto the paper. Aha! And then when I've lifted off the backing, perfect. So we're going to stick that so that it's adhered the twine. Perfect. And then I'm going to just take another piece just to adhere the other end because it's going to be raised. We don't want it. Oh, everything's sticking to the adhesive. There we go. So that's going to be like so. I am just going to cover. Do you know what? I'm not going to use those adhesive dots because I think that they're really cool and I could use those on other things. So for this case, I am going to bring in my own adhesive and just use some wet glue to... I've realised what's going to go wrong here. Dough is definitely the word, because I actually need that to be further up, don't I? I didn't think that through, but never mind, because you would put sending above the piece. So we're going to put it down there, and it's not hidden as much of my wreath as I thought, but never mind, it's all fine, all fine, all fine, all fine. Back to my adhesive. I just think I've got a bit more confidence in the wet glue working for this. As long as you're quite gentle, which clearly I'm not, and I've just put big globules on there. Never mind. It's all fine. It's all absolutely fine. There we go. And I probably didn't need to put any on the end of that E because it's going to rise above. Now, because I've used a wet glue, of course, I've got a few marks on our lovely foil. So I'm just going to try and get rid of some of those. There we go. It's not too bad now. Probably should have folded my card and used a bone folder earlier in this process. There we go. Right. I think that that is super cute. I love that thread. So I'm really disappointed I've just wasted some by knotting it by accident, but I'm sure I'll come up with another way. And obviously I need to think about my placement of my word and my sentiment and all the rest of it. Never mind. Really, really cute card. Love it. Do you know what? Whilst we're here, I might as well make one of the other style. And although I'm saying one of the other style, clearly I have not completely followed the instructions at all, and I've stuck mine in a slightly different place and all the rest of it, but that's how I craft. I get told an instruction and then I do my own thing anyway. So I'm going to go back to the flowers. Now I am going to do what I suggested that you might want to do, which is rather than use two on one card, because that just seems a little excessive to me. I am going to go as they've designed it with the horizontal and then the stripes going across. I need the slightly more, almost a square rectangle. And then they've gone with 2, you see, going 1 and 2. But I think it's just which way would I want to do it. I think maybe that way. If I maybe cut it that way, let's just do it. Let's just do it. It's only a piece of card at the end of the day. But I think that I've not quite done it how I'd said I would do it then, have I? Ooh, that's weird. But I think that that plus that would be quite cute. And we're going to do a gold banner. So that's going to reduce the size of it somewhat. But perfect. I think that's fine. Right, let's see if we can rescue this knotted piece and turn it into something that just goes behind the banner. I think we can. I think we can do something with that to make it look vaguely pretty. Okay, so that's that with that. What else do we need? We need the Merry Christmas stamping. So stamp set. Sending back, and let's go for Merry Christmas. Now, Catherine, learn from last time's mistake. Do not rock the stamp. You know you're not meant to rock the stamp. Okay, just jade, ink spot, and again, because this is a larger stamp, I'm definitely going to the stamp with the ink rather than the other way around. And then try not to rock the stamp so we don't end up with a weird smudgy edge. There we go. Lovely. Oh, this Just Jade looks absolutely gorgeous. I have to admit, it's not a colour I thought I particularly liked a lot. But I do when it's like that. I think it's gorgeous. Okay. Fine. I'm happy with that. So I am going to start adhering things, and this time I'm going to go for a bit of glue again onto the foil, and slightly different from the arrangements, I'm actually going to go wonky rather than straight on, just because I think that that would look nice. But that's just my view. You can do as you wish. Now I think they have, and I think I'm going to follow that suit. They've gone for, in fact, I could probably go to slight angle for that as well. Yeah, they've gone for the twine being under the flowers, so I'm going to do exactly the same. And again, I'm going to go for glue, just because it's giving me a little bit of wiggle room, which you don't get when you are using like a tape or that kind of adhesive. You don't get the same kind of wiggle room time, so I like that. And then I'm going to do the same on this end, like so. So I just need a little bit of glue going along this edge here, like so. Lovely. Potentially pull it out just a little bit. There we go. So I think that's really cute. Okay, I'm going to stick that to one side, but I'm going to do it upside down just so that the glue that might be separate isn't going to stick to anything. Now, how to arrange this so it's decorative, or do we just give up on this idea and maybe, I don't know if there's enough sticking out there. I think that might be okay. We could probably use that. Now, I think we're still going to go with glue. Probably shouldn't glue all of it because some of it's hanging over, but never mind. I think that if we went at a slight angle and we go like so, we get that little bit of cotton coming out the side. Oh, sorry, linen thread coming out the side. Perfect. And then do we go wonky again? Or do we go straight? Do we go wonky that way? No, we don't go wonky that way. I'm not entirely sure. Right, well, what we do need though is a bit of dimension going on. So we're going to go for our dimensionals. I'm just going to do one for each corner. And then I always find these pieces around the edge are absolutely perfect for when you just want a little bit more just to balance. And in this case, it's going to be on that bit of banner, because otherwise it's likely to create a loose edge. I'm thinking wonky. I'm thinking wonky probably because my head's a little bit wonky after a long day at work, but there you go. And we've not done 100% wonderful crafting in this little experience so far. There we go, that'll do. I think that's really cute though. Really cute. So there's the two cards. My slight variation on the actual designs that they designed, which are those. But I suspect they'll be the only two that look even close to that when I actually get to play it with this again. I'm imagining all sorts of other stuff going on, so please do subscribe to see more, and thumbs up if you liked it. Apologies if it was all over the place. Say, long day at work, slightly frazzled brain, but never mind. And I will see you again soon. So take care. Bye.